Welcome to this week's practice. Today we are going to break down one of the sutras that we learned about in this week's lessons, or rather a group of sutras that we learned about in this week's lessons, specifically the sutras that we talked about in the lesson on the body and how Patanjali offers these different areas of the body where we can bring an area of focus. So what I've done for us today for our practice is put together little vignettes of sequences that I've combined together. So the practice that you do right now is going to perhaps look like a fuller flow, but each different vignette in the flow is going to focus on a different area of the body based on the sutras that we reviewed in lesson 1 of this week's lessons. That's a little bit different than what I've been doing for the practices previously, where we were really just looking at one specific sutra or one specific principle or idea. Here we are looking at all of the ideas or all of the objects of focus that Patanjali gives us underneath this heading of the body. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there are so many practical applications that we can utilize right away in our teaching, and I want to show you how to not only experience that, but model how you might do that as a teacher. So let's go ahead and get started lying on your back, and we are going to start with the navel center as our object of focus. So come down onto your back, and you can let the soles of your feet be on the ground here. You could hug the knees into the chest, whatever helps you settle into your body here for a moment. Notice any sensations that are present. Maybe notice the state of your spine right now. Notice the quality of your breath. And maybe even notice the state of your energy, something a little more subtle than the actual sensations that might be showing up for you physically. Maybe you take a moment to acknowledge the thought patterns that have been present in your mind most recently. And then shift your awareness to your navel center. This is the first area of focus Patanjali gives us in the sutras that we reviewed in lesson 1 this week. So notice sensations around your belly button. I personally love using the core as a way to help students gain more understanding about their own power and strength. But not everybody has a great relationship with their stomach and with their core, so notice what comes up for you. As you breathe, see if you can expand into your belly. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now hug your knees into your chest and stack your knees over the hips with your shins parallel to the ground. You can leave your arms down by your side or take your hands underneath your low back, and we'll begin with very gentle marching. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, march your right heel down to the ground. Inhale, lift that leg back up. Exhale, switch legs. Move back and forth at the pace of your own breath here, and let the breath guide the movement so that you're not using momentum. As you gently tap the heels down towards the ground, feel the muscles in the core engaging to help support you. I want you to see if you can maintain a gentle space underneath the low back So you're not flattening the spine down to the ground. Rather, you are keeping the neutral curve in the spine, which is requiring the core muscles to turn on to help give you the support that you need to maintain that neutral spine. Keep your 90-degree angle at the legs. So you're not bending at the knees here, you're really hinging from the hips. And if you can only go down a little bit, that's okay too. I just want you to really stay focused on the muscular action of the core that is driving this movement here. Let's do a couple more. Last one. And then hug the knees into the chest for a moment. Now straighten the legs up towards the ceiling. You can massage the back of the hamstrings here. Maybe point and flex the feet a couple times to bring some mobility into the ankles and the feet. And then reach up through the heels. Again, your arms are resting down by your side, or you can place the hands underneath your low back for extra support. Again, to the best of your ability, I want you to try and maintain a neutral spinal position. We'll scissor the legs back and forth. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly lower your right leg down towards the ground. Inhale, lift the leg back up. Then switch sides. Exhale, lower your heel down. Inhale, lift the leg back up, and now move back and forth at the pace of your own breath, allowing the breath to guide the movement rather than momentum. Keep that neutral spinal position by really connecting to the engagement of your core muscles here. Try to reach out through the heels so the legs stay as straight as possible, but of course you're welcome to bend the knees if you need to. And maybe you only lower a few inches, and that's all your core can handle in this moment, and that's perfectly okay. Let's do a couple more on this side. Maybe you're starting to feel the fire build in and around this navel center that we're using as our object of focus. One more each side. Last one. Then come back up to center, hug your knees into the chest. Send the legs straight back up towards the ceiling. Bring your arms out to the side now. I'm going to bring my arms to a cactus position because I don't have enough room. What I want you to do now is take the legs, imagine you're gluing the inner edges of your legs together, maybe engaging those adductor muscles on the inside of the thighs. And now we're going to move back and forth. So slowly take your feet over towards the right. Remember, the legs are glued together as one unit. Inhale, bring the legs back up to center. Exhale, let the legs fall over towards the left. Inhale, back up to center. Continue to move at the pace of your own breath. Exhaling down, inhaling back. And what I want you to think about here is creating a bit of a diagonal line. So the feet are moving out towards the fingertips rather than straight out. Inhale, back. Exhale, create that slight diagonal. Inhale, back to center. Now you can lower your feet as low towards the ground as you're able to maintain a strong and stable connection with your core, with your navel center. I'm going pretty easy here for me because I want to make sure that I'm keeping that strong connection with my core, and I'm still healing from my diastasis recti, so I'm not going quite as far as maybe I would have been able to go a year or two ago. But I'm still feeling that connection in my oblique muscles and side body muscles and in the front of the body and along the back of my body too, which is also part of your core. Let's do a couple more here. We've utilized different movements here to bring awareness to the navel center and awaken our entire torso, our entire core. Last one. Come back up to center, hug the knees into your chest, keep the knees hugged in. You can start to rock side to side as you massage the low back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now grab hold underneath the knees, begin to rock along the length of the spine, keeping that connection to your core and coming all the way up, making your way back into a child's pose. Take your knees wide, rest your forehead on the mat, and as you breathe, feel your breath expanding into your low back and into your belly. So we started with the core as a wonderful way to awaken sensation throughout the torso, awaken those core muscles which will support us in all the rest of our movements and all the rest of our asana for the rest of class. So I really like starting class with core work because I think that helps us get to our center. It helps us strengthen, and as Patanjali says, it helps us get to know the organization of our entire body. It's really helping us work from center. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now, from child's pose, on your inhale, press through your shins, rise all the way up to stand so that your shoulders stack over your hips, reach your arms overhead, open up through your chest and through your throat a little bit. We're shifting our awareness now to the pit of the throat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, come back into child's pose. Again, let the breath be your guide. As you inhale, rise up. You're still using your core to support you, but now you're opening up through your heart and your throat a little too. Exhale, send the hips down. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower back down to the ground. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now come on up into a tabletop position. Go ahead and cross your feet behind you. Bring your sit bones down to the ground. We'll move into boat. So I'm going to keep the soles of my feet down on the ground here, but of course you're welcome to grab hold underneath the thighs, lift one foot at a time or both feet if you like. Again, I'm healing from some diastasis, so for me, this is what my core can handle right now, but I want you to choose what your core can handle in this moment. So, with my feet on the ground here, I'm going to lean back to keep a really nice long spine and then reach my arms up towards the ceiling so that the line from my spine out through the fingertips is continuous. And I feel these muscles hugging in and bringing me towards center. So we're looking for this strength and this centeredness, not only in the core, but hugging in through the inner line of the legs, even hugging in through the inner line of the arms, opening up across the chest, opening up the throat to keep the back of the neck in line with the rest of the spine. And I don't know if you can see this here, but I am shaking. This is requiring so much strength. Plus, I'm also talking at the same time. I want you to be breathing. Big breath in, big breath out. You always can lift one leg at a time if you like, but this is hard enough for me right here. Take another breath in. Now, as I exhale, I'm going to release my hands down to the ground underneath my shoulders, coming into reverse tabletop. Press through the feet, engage the glutes, and lift the hips as high as you can towards the ceiling. Now, option here to open up the throat again. Remember, Patanjali gives us this object of focus that is the pit of the throat. So if it's comfortable for you, feel free to open up the throat a little bit. Maybe you feel the breath as it moves through the back of the throat on your inhales and your exhales. One more deep breath in. Exhale gently. Lower the hips down to the ground. Slide the hips back in between the hands. Cross the feet. Plant the hands out in front of you. Curl the toes under and send your hips high so that you're back in downward facing dog. Now in your down dog here, feel free to pedal out the legs, bending one knee and then the other. Find a nice long spine as you send the sit bones high. Maybe you keep a nice gentle bend in the knees. Press through the palms. Take a deep breath in, expand into the belly. Feel the air as it moves through the back of the throat.
Deep breath in. Deep breath out, finding your ujjayi breathing. Now gaze forward in between your hands. Walk your feet to the top of your mat for a forward fold. Inhale into halfway lift, lengthen the spine forward. Exhale, fold back down to the ground. Press through the feet, inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, forward fold, maybe bending in the knees as you come down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold back down. Moving with your breath continuously. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And fold back down. Good. Plant the hands. Step back into plank. Maybe pause there for a moment. Reconnect with your core. Take a deep breath in. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Lift your right leg high to the ceiling. Low lunge, step the foot forward in between your hands. Spin the back foot down and open up into warrior two. So I want you to bring your hands to heart center, and I'm going to switch here so that you can see me. We really moved quickly through that sun salutation A as a way to get the heart rate up. So with your hands on your heart here in your warrior two, I want you to feel into the steady beating rhythm of your heart. Taking deep breaths in, expanding into the belly, into the sides of the body, into the heart. Remember, Patanjali tells us to bring our awareness to that tortoise-shaped tube underneath the throat, in the chest. I interpret that to be around the area of the heart so that we can find a sense of steadiness. I want you to feel the steady beating of your heart and allow that rhythm to move through the entire body, through your breathing, so that you can maintain steadiness in your entire posture. Eventually, you can take the hands out to the side. Deep breath in. Exhale, extended side angle. I'm going to rest my forearm on my thigh and come back to that steadiness. Maybe keeping my awareness around my chest and my heart, maybe continuing to sense the beating of my heart. And of course, continuing to breathe. Take this back into reverse warrior. Now, I don't know about you, but my experience here, when I really focus my energy on my beating heart or on one thing only, I'm not worrying so much about my balance. I feel really strong, really steady in my legs and my feet. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Step right back into downward facing dog from here. Take a breath in and a breath out. Now inhale, lift the left leg high towards the ceiling. I'm going to flip around here. Low lunge, step the foot forward in between your hand. Rise up into your warrior two again, hands out to the side. If it's helpful, bring your hands back together at heart center. Come back to the steady beating rhythm of your heart. Still connected to your core. It's not super active, but it's there. There's that engagement. We're just layering on top of everything. We're still connected to our ujjayi breathing, so we have the sensation of the air moving in and out through the back of the throat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, extended side angle. Staying steady through the legs, connected through the core, steady through the breathing, and allowing the beating rhythm of the heart to keep our mind focused. Inhale, reverse warrior, lift up and back. And when you bring your cues to these different objects of focus, it takes it more inward so that it's not so much about the alignment of where the foot is placed and the contraction of the muscles. It's a more global, holistic way of being in these shapes. Deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground and step back into your downward facing dog. Coming back into the right. On your inhale, lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Low lunge, step the foot forward in between your hands. This time we'll rise up into a crescent lunge. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Again, inhale, exhale. So now we are moving. Okay, this is hilarious. You guys, we're just going to keep going here. Somebody is going to be climbing up onto the windows. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to go with it, okay? So inhale, reach your arms overhead. Take weight forward into your foot and slowly bring your knee all the way up and see if you can find your balance here. Draw your knee into your chest. Lift up high. We're moving into tree pose next. Slowly take the sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh. Bring your hands together at heart center. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now again, we're coming back to that sense of steadiness here. Right? So there's steadiness coming from the core, coming from the steady beating rhythm of the heart, coming from the ujjayi breathing as the breath moves in and out through the back of the throat. And now we're taking our awareness to that light at the crown of the head. So we're moving deeper into these layers. And we are allowing ourselves to move into a more subtle awareness of the body. Now from here, we're going to move into a dancer. So slowly reach back behind you, grab hold of your left foot. Press your left foot into your hand as you reach your right arm forward out in front of you. You can use your gaze to help you find your balance here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now there's awareness through the heart, through the ujjayi breathing, and we're starting to allow that awareness to move outside of ourselves through the crown of the head as well. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Slowly bring your hands back together at heart center and send your foot back behind you into a crescent lunge. Lower your knee down to the ground, coming into a crescent moon. So the weight is forward on your front foot. I want you to open up through the heart and feel the light, your inner light, rising all the way out through the crown of the head. So sometimes we need help in our life, right? And who do we ask for help? Maybe we're able to ask for help from people that are around us in our life. But sometimes we need to ask for inspiration from others. So what Patanjali means when he asks us to bring awareness to that light that's moving through the crown of the head, he's really asking us to communicate with those that we need to find inspiration and guidance from that might not actually be people that we can talk to. So we're opening up our ability to receive here as we open up through the chest, through the throat, through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in, and then bring your hands down to the ground. And I'm going to have you step back into a tabletop position, coming up to stack the shoulders over the hips. Bring your hands together or behind you at your low back and come into a camel pose. Lift up through the chest, draw the elbows together, and allow the hips to gently move forward over the knees. So you're opening up through the back of the body and the front of the body at the same time. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more inhale here. Exhale. On your inhale, come all the way back up. Set your hips back down onto your heels. Now slide yourself forward, coming into Sphinx. And I want you to do this in the most controlled way that you can, integrating your core. So slowly walk your knees back and then slowly lower the hips down to the ground. Press the forearms into the mat as you lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, continuing to open up that space in the heart, continuing to open up the throat. Come back to your ujjayi breathing.
Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Again, inhale. And exhale. All right, slowly lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Lower your hands down by your side. On your inhale, lift everything up towards the ceiling. Reach back through your fingertips, lift your legs up off the ground, engage through the core, and now tuck your chin in slightly so the back of the neck, the back of the throat stays long. Deep breath in. Feel that light moving from the base of the spine all the way out through the crown of the head. Feel supported, not just by the muscles of your body, by the support, guidance, and inspiration from those that help you most. One more deep inhale here. And exhale, lower yourself all the way down to the ground. All right, we're going to walk through this entire sequence backwards now. So slowly bring your forearms to the ground with your elbows right underneath your shoulders. And come back up into Sphinx. Lift up through the heart. Feel the light moving from the base of the spine out through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Again, big breath in, big breath out. One more here. Slowly walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. Engage your core. Lift your hips up so that you come into a tabletop position. Bring your hands to your hips and rise so that your shoulders stack over your hips. Coming back into camel, gently press the hips forward as you lift up through the chest. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Lift up and out of your lower back, allowing the upper body to really guide you to find some opening here through the lower body. One more deep inhale and exhale. Restack the shoulders over the hips. Now, we'll take the left foot forward out in front of us, curl the toes under, lift the back leg, actually lower the back knee down, bring weight forward into that front foot, open the arms up towards the ceiling so we come back into our crescent moon. This for me feels really nice across the hip flexor and the back leg. So the more you bring weight forward, the more you'll start to open up that back leg. And you'll see that we're gradually opening up these different areas of the body so that we can allow for that free flow of energy at that more subtle layer, so that we can feel that inner light moving through us and all the way out through the crown of the head, so that we can open up the body so that we are able to communicate more clearly, not only with ourselves, but with everyone else around us in our life. And that's how we receive help, is when we go out into the world and we ask for it. So being open throughout the entire body, throughout the entire energetic body, is really helpful. All right, engage through the core. Begin to lift that back knee up off the ground. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, take weight forward into your front foot and lift the right knee up into the chest. Stand really tall here. We're coming into dancer next. So reach back, grab hold of the inside of the foot, kick the foot back into the hand, and reach the left arm forward. Still opening through the heart, still opening through the throat. Come back to your Ujjayi breathing, still connected to that steady beat. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Tree pose is next. Keep your gaze focused as you slowly maybe bring the knee up to your chest first, then bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the leg. I'm going to bring my hands together at heart center here. I'm still connected to my navel center. That's creating the foundation for all the steadiness that I'm feeling here in my body, in my energy, and even in my mind as well. Take a deep breath in
And a deep breath out. And from here, we'll step back and move into a crescent lunge. So big step back, foot on the ground. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more big expansive breath in. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground. I'm going to step right back into downward facing dog. But if chaturanga is part of your practice and you want to go through that here, by all means, you can move through a chaturanga. Relax your head and your neck. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Again, big breath in, big breath out. One more deep inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and gaze forward in between your hands. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold back down. Press through the feet, rise all the way up to stand. Reach the arms overhead and bring the hands back together at heart center. Take a big step back and open up into a wide stance. Heels in, toes point out, bend the knees, sit down low into a temple pose with the hands together at heart center. So we've cycled through all the different objects of focus that Patanjali gave us. The core at the navel center, the pit of the throat, through opening up the throat and ujjayi breathing. The steadiness that we receive from the beating of the heart and bringing our awareness to the chest. And then focusing on opening up all of the body so that we can allow the light to flow through the spine and out through the crown of the head. So we're open to receive communication from those who guide us. Now we're going to move into the sutra that Patanjali gives us when he talks about the creation of the perfect body. And what is first? It is beauty. That is subjective. So I want you to sink into your temple here and allow yourself to feel beautiful in whatever way that comes up for you. I chose this pose. Oftentimes it's called goddess, but I use temple because it's gender neutral. And when we allow ourselves to think about our body as a temple and treat our body like a temple, that allows us to find purity and beauty in ourselves, even though we might not necessarily think of ourselves as beautiful in this position or in any given moment. I want you to find it from the inside. Also, this posture requires strength, and that's part of the perfect body as well. And grace. So how are we going to find grace here? I want you to start to find some movement. So shift the weight side to side, making your way into Skandasana or surfer. And you can stay high here as you find these graceful, rhythmic, smooth movements back and forth. You can go lower towards the ground if you want, walking the hands back and forth. Whatever feels good to you. I'm going to stay up a little bit higher. That's what's feeling good in my body today. And I'm even going to keep my hands over my heart. That feels intuitive and right for me in this moment and is allowing me to connect with my own sense of internal beauty, grace, and then strength. Because this is a challenging posture to hold. It's challenging on the hips and the legs. It requires some core strength, some spinal mobility. So allow yourself to start to come back to center here. Bring your hands together at heart center and allow yourself to sink low into this temple. You might be feeling some burning in the thighs. You might be feeling some re-engagement of the core. Bring your hands together onto the inner thighs, fingertips point in. Draw one shoulder down as you press the thigh bones back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale up to center, exhale into the other direction. And do that one more time, each side. So that last quality that Patanjali gives us in his definition of the perfect body is the firmness of a diamond. So I'm going to have you come back to center. And that means that whatever comes our way, we don't let it scratch us. We keep going. So I want you to find the position here that allows you to connect with that sense of firmness in yourself. Maybe you stay here, maybe you come back to that graceful movement, maybe you take a completely different movement. Whatever feels best to you, yogi's choice. This is allowing you to connect with your own sense of you, which is perfect as it is. Beauty, grace, strength, and the firmness such that whatever comes your way, you will not allow it to scratch you and scar you. You will allow it to come to you, but continue on without those scratches or scars affecting you long term. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Press down through the feet, inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Turn your feet parallel, coming back to this wide-legged stance if you happen to find a different expression or a different shape while you were experiencing your own inner firmness. On your inhale, reach your arms up overhead and make your way down into a wide-legged forward fold. Let your head and your neck go. Come back to your breath. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. Slowly walk your hands around. Lower your knee to the ground. Come back to a tabletop. And then come to a seated position. So now we are going to wind our class down here, and I'm really just going to give you a few postures and shapes to counter all of the movements that we just did. Starting with Gomukhasana, so you'll bring your right leg down on the bottom and cross the left leg over. Stacking the knees one on top of the other. If you need to, you can always straighten the bottom leg. Make sure both of your sit bones are down on the ground here. And then take your right arm and reach it up towards the ceiling. Bend the elbow, reach back behind you like you're patting yourself on the back. Nice job for showing up. Other hand comes around, reaches back, grabs hold of your fingertips, your shirt, a belt, a strap, whatever you have handy, or air. Maybe nothing at all, and you're really bringing the elements into your practice here. Lift up through your top elbow, draw down through your bottom elbow. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Again, big breath in. Big breath out. And maybe you take this time here to check back in with all those different objects of focus that we cycled through during class. Starting with the navel center, the belly button. Noticing any sensation there in this moment. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, release the arms, unwind the legs, and switch sides. So the opposite leg is under. Again, this side might be different than the other side, so maybe you straighten the bottom leg. That's totally okay. Both sit bones stay connected to the ground. Reach the left arm up. Give yourself that pat on the back. Other hand comes around, reaches for the fingertips or whatever you can grab. Lift up through the top elbow, gently draw down through the bottom elbow, and breathe. Maybe close your eyes and bring your awareness back to your Ujjayi breathing. Gentle breathing in and out through the nose, feeling the air as it moves in and out through the back of the throat. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, release the arms. Release the legs. Take the legs straight out in front of you. Turn around here so you can still see me. Shake out the legs. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, Paschimottanasana. Grab hold of whatever you can reach. Bend your knees as much as you need. Breathe into the back body here. And here I want you to particularly bring awareness to the upper back, because oftentimes when we think about bringing awareness to the area around the chest or to the heart, we forget that we're three-dimensional beings. And the heart exists not just in the front of the body, but there's a back body too. So maybe take your awareness to breathing into and expanding into that space behind the heart. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. On your inhale, rise all the way up to seated and slowly lower yourself down onto the ground. Hug your knees into your chest, give them a little squeeze. And then let your knees drop over to your left for a gentle twist. Take your arms out to the right. Gaze wherever it feels most comfortable and breathe. This time bringing your awareness to the light at the crown of your head. Perhaps connecting into your own energetic field, your own aura. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Hug the knees into the chest. And then let the knees fall over to the other side. On your inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Hug your knees into your chest one last time. And make your way into your final Shavasana. Allowing yourself to rest here in your own perfection, in your beauty, your grace, your strength, and your resolve, your resilience. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll over onto one side. And bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. With your hands together at heart center and your eyes closed. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through the mouth. The light and wisdom within me honors and acknowledges the light and wisdom within you. Namaste. All right, we have to take a moment and have some real talk here and talk about what just happened in this class, specifically as it relates to our friend, the window washer, who joined us. I want to give you a little bit of insight into what was going through my mind as all of this was happening. And before I get there, I want to also share with you a little bit about what happened specifically as it relates to me sitting down to actually record this video for you. So I recorded this video for you, and I had forgotten to plug in the camera to the power source. And so I went through and I recorded the whole video, and I came back to turn off the recording and noticed that the camera had died. And I didn't know at what point during the flow the camera had died, and so when I went back to check, I think it had only picked up like the first 12 minutes of the practice before the camera had died. And I know better than that because I've been doing this long enough to know that you always plug your camera into its power source whenever you're filming or recording anything, because you never know what's going to happen and you just don't want to take that chance. But I'm human, and I had been really busy and really kind of flustered and coming up against a deadline, and I needed to get that recording done, and I forgot. And I was really frustrated, and I knew that that meant I was going to have to record at a different time in a different location, and that it was going to be really challenging. But I didn't have any other choice. So I came here, and you notice this is a different background. I had to find a new space to do my recording, set everything up, get all my lights. And in this new space, there's dogs, and they're barking all the time. And so you might have heard some of that in the background. And there was nothing that I could really do to control those situations, so I really just had to let go of it, let go of my need and want for this to be as perfect as possible, and give you what I've got, which is this. And then everything was going great, and all of a sudden we're in the middle of the flow, and here comes a ladder. And I'm at my parents' house right now. I had no idea that the window washers were scheduled to come today. They probably didn't even know that the window washers were scheduled to come today. And so here we are practicing, and what's going through my head is, oh my gosh, what's about to happen? There's a moment in me where I'm so full of rage because I already had to redo this. I just don't have time. I'm so up against a deadline right now to get this done. And I'm trying to think in my mind, I'm just going to have to stop. I'm going to have to stop and re-record when the window washers go. But there was also a part of me that was like, let's see if we can just keep going and see if maybe it's not so bad. And then the guy comes up and starts washing the windows, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I have to stop this recording. This is so unprofessional. There's no way that I can put this out. And then there's this little voice in my head that's like, you know what? Just go with this. Isn't this an amazing example of everything that we've been learning about in this course? And it's so amazing because it's so mundane. It is a distraction that's coming at us from life that is so simple, that I'm in the middle of recording a practice for you, and the window washer comes and starts washing the windows behind me. That is so distracting. And yet our yoga practice teaches us the ability, the capacity to find the focus that we need to completely ignore it and carry on anyway. And that was what I channeled within me
to deliver this practice to you the best that I could, blocking out that distraction. And yes, it was distracting. I knew he was there, but I was doing everything in my power to stay so centered and focused in my teaching, in my body, in my cues, in the present moment, so that I could continue to deliver the class to you the best way that I knew how. That was what I chose to do because I wanted to model this to you, and I wanted to use this as a teaching experience. I hope that it didn't take away too much from your experience of the class, but also in and of itself, the whole thing was a learning experience and was a class in staying focused, in staying single-minded, and in not letting something so simple like a little distraction, the window washer, completely set my day off, not allowing the rage and my need to be perfect to get in the way of delivering what I think is a really valuable teaching and a valuable lesson. Because I could have just said, oh, screw it, and go turn off the camera and get all angry, and I would have stomped downstairs and yelled at my parents and been so mad, but that accomplishes nothing because I still would have had to come back and record the practice again. And when was I going to do that? I would have to find more time, and I'm really coming up against the wire. I just don't have that time anymore. So I chose to stick with it. The window washer went away, we continued with our practice, and we were able to finish. Hopefully you were able to still have a good practice, but if nothing else, I hope that you got out of this a real-time example of how I have been able to use the practices of yoga to cultivate focus, to cultivate the ability to let go of the need to be perfect, and to allow everything that's happening in my life become a lesson and an opportunity to learn and grow. And this is part of the reason why I love the Yoga Sutra, because so many of the lessons and the wisdom from the Yoga Sutra can apply to these really simple, mundane moments of our life. That's where I find wisdom and inspiration. Those are the teachers that are helping me in my moments. Maybe Patanjali was with me. I was communicating through the light at the crown of my head, because that's exactly where we were in the sequence when all this was happening. So I just wanted to have this moment of real talk to you, teacher to teacher, and share with you what was going through my head, and why I was making the choices that I was making, and how in real time I was thinking of, like, how does this relate, how perfect this relates to all of these lessons that we're learning in the moment. We're just going to go with it. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to let the rage get the best of me. I'm not going to let perfection get in the way of done. And maybe that was the wrong choice, but that's the risk that I'm going to take in the so that I can honor the teachings of Patanjali and be really, totally, completely, 100% vulnerable and real with you. This is where I'm at today. This is my practice, and this whole course has been my chance to share how I teach and how I live with you. And I really hope that you found it valuable. This is what I've got to give with you. Again, the light and wisdom within me honors and acknowledges the light and wisdom within you in your life and your experiences. May you take them and find wisdom in all of your life, in everything that happens, in the window washers that interrupt your recordings. And you take that and you allow it to help you grow and become a better person and a better yoga teacher. Thank you so much. Namaste.